Good evening. I would like to call this meeting of the Daviess County Fiscal Court to order. This is Thursday, July 11, 2024, and this is our first meeting of July. So let's see. Commissioner Marksberry, would you lead us in the prayer and the pledge, please?
Sure. Would you stand with me, please? Heavenly Father, we come together to thank you for the blessings for our country and for our local community. It's with heavy hearts that we implore you to bestow a special blessing on those who have lost their jobs this week. That was a cruel blow to those workers and their families. It could not have come at a worse time with the current inflation we're experiencing as a nation. Father, we pray for provision for these families and new opportunities to present themselves quickly. We lift up those who are hurting and ask that you give us wisdom as we do business for the county. Please guide us and direct us in all that we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Now the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. For those who might have noticed, I was a little, not disoriented, but a little off, hiked across the parking lot from our other building instead of just coming down the hallways. So anyway, Terry, thanks for filling in for Brooke. First item, please.
1, consideration for presentation. A, proclaim July 19th through the 27th, 2024 as Dust Bowl Basketball Tournament Week.
Thank you. I'm going to read this one. Whereas this summer, the Dust Bowl is hosting its 51st annual outdoor basketball tournament in Owensboro, Daviess County, and whereas year after year, this historic event displays our region's talented basketball players for an all-around, good-spirited, and tremendously competitive expression of the game. Whereas the Dust Bowl, held at Kendall Perkins Park, always delights visitors and players with a wide array of food vendors who never fail to delight the taste buds. Now, therefore, I, Daviess County Judge Executive Charlie Casson, do hereby proclaim July 19 through 27, 2024 as Dust Bowl Basketball Tournament Week in Daviess County, Kentucky, and I urge all citizens to get out and take part in this historic week of basketball presented in Daviess County, Kentucky, this 11th day of July 2024. Signed and sealed, Daviess County Judge Executive Charlie Casson. And we have Rippo, if you want to come up and accept this, sir. And then if you want to say a few words, we'll get a picture afterwards. All right?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay, on behalf of the Owensboro Dust Bowl and myself, I would like to thank the Fiscal Court for this proclamation. And
All right, thank you, and thank you for your efforts in keeping it going all these years.
yes,
Okay? All
thank
right,
you.
let's get a picture.
Can I take a picture with you guys?
You're most welcome.
Take 2, 3, 2, 1. Sorry, take one more. 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Oh, sorry.
B, proclaim July 11th, 2024 as David Daniel Day.
And Commissioner Marksberry.
Yes, Judge. Daviess County, Kentucky, proclamation, Office of the County Judge Executive. Whereas David Daniel was one of 100 people in the 2023 United States Senate Youth Program, And whereas he was elected governor of American Legion, Kentucky Boys State in 2023, and whereas he was the first Kentuckian elected president of American Legion Boys Nation in 2023, and whereas he was 2024 National Merit Scholarship recipient, and whereas he was a 2024 Coca-Cola Scholar recipient, and whereas at Owensboro High School, he was class president and member of the debate team, academic team, National Honor Society, and whereas he will be attending Harvard University this fall. Now therefore, in Daviess County, Kentucky, Daviess County Judge Executive Charlie Castlin does hereby proclaim July 11th, 2024 as David Daniel Day. Presented in Daviess County, Kentucky, this 11th day of July, 2024, Charlie Castlin, Daviess County Judge Executive.
So if you want to come up. We just want to congratulate you. Yeah, and if you would. That's all right. Say a few words and then we'll get a picture.
Yeah, I'll be at the American Legion later today. Yeah. I just want to thank everybody for doing. I didn't know this was what was going on. Somebody told me to come here. I didn't know, but I want to thank everybody in this amazing city who has helped me get to where I am today. It takes a tribe. It's not one person that does anything by himself, and there's been so many people who have helped me to push me along. My dad, the people at the Legion, the people at Owensboro High School, the people here. I couldn't be more thankful to come from where I come from, and I wouldn't be the same person that I am without it.
Very
Thank
good.
you very
Well,
much.
when Nick, congratulations. When Nick called us and told us of your accomplishments with the American Legion, we were very happy to jump on board and recognize you. We'd like to get a picture with you.
Of course.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Oops, sorry, a little early there. 3, 2, 1. All right.
Are you ready?
Terry, next item.
2, consideration for approval, A, minutes of the June 28th, 2024 Daviess County Fiscal Court meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second?
Got a motion and a second. We've all had the minutes for some time to review. And are there any corrections, deletions, or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
B, all claims for all departments.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Are there any questions for the treasurer on the claims? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. C, fund transfers.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Judge. Fiscal court transfers unencumbered funds from the general fund to the bond fund, road fund, and jail fund, and from the jail fund to the bond fund to provide operating monies for the respective funds and to service debt. This is the first round of budgeted transfers for fiscal year 24-25. I'm requesting authority to transfer $2,870,664 from the general fund to the road fund for operations, $3,409,812 from the general fund to the jail fund for operations, $117,500 from the general fund to the bond fund for the Operations Center Complex debt service, $375,000 from the jail fund to the bond fund for the detention center facility debt service, and $593,000 from the general fund to the bond fund for the public safety radio system debt service. These transfers are budgeted in standard practice. I request your approval.
Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
D, apply for 2024 Spay Neuter Kentucky Program Grant from the Kentucky Department of Agriculture.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Smith.
Yes, sir. The state on a regular basis puts out a grant application for their spay-neuter program. This program is actually funded by people who get the spay-neuter license plates for their cars. We're applying this year. I think it's been a few years since we've applied. We can get a maximum of $1,075. Those that get matches are heavily favored. So like the past, we are matching at 100%. The county would put in $1,135. With that money, after discussing it with you, Judge, I think we would spend the money on 26 female pits in this community that would be able to get a free spay.
And this does not, unlike the rest of our policy on spay neuters, this is not income-based, right?
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions for Commissioner Condor?
Clarify, Mr. Smith, something for me. Did you say 26 female pits? You mean pit bulls?
Correct.
And it's limited only to that breed?
Correct.
Is the grant limited only to that breed?
No,
or-
sir.
So this was an internal decision for the pit
Correct,
bulls, is that
Judge.
correct?
So yes, that's correct. When I went to the judge with the application, I said, how would you like this spent? And he said he would really like to see female pits. Because they are, most of our dog bites and other health department quarantines have been pit bulls.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Yes, I do have a
Commissioner
question.
Marksberry?
Thank you. So this money is for spaying 26 female pit bulls at our own spay-neuter clinic, correct?
Correct.
Well, since our only vet just took an unpaid leave of absence for the next 2 months, who's going to spay these dogs?
I don't know for certain when this grant will be approved. The deadline is midnight Monday. And then in addition to that, like we did when the vet was on vacation, we are getting relief vets to fill in.
Okay, isn't it correct that for $25 per dog, which is our true cost of spaying these animals, we could actually spay with this amount of money 88 dogs instead of just 26? That's approximately 3.5 times as many dogs that will no longer be reproducing, adding to our overpopulation problem. So why are we not doing more?
Because we go by when we fill out the application, we go by our rate schedule, which is what we publish as a fiscal court.
Okay, well, I don't know if this is proper, but I would like to make a motion that we spay 88 female pit bulls for free with this amount of money, should we receive this grant. Perhaps by changing the monetary fees and upping the number of dogs served, we stand a better chance of receiving the grant. That is, unless we have to hire another vet to come in and do it now, which to me does not seem fair to the taxpayers when we already had a vet working for us. But I believe Dr. Gray has indicated she would be willing to come in to help out while she's on her unpaid leave, so maybe we should ask her.
Are you I'm asking Commissioner Marksberry, are you making a motion?
I would like to make a motion that instead of 26 dogs, we can spay 88 dogs with the same amount of money based on our true cost of spay-neuter.
I will not be seconding this. Do I hear a second?
I would like a question, if I could. Are those numbers correct? I'm just curious before
I
there's
do
another
not know
second.
where I don't know where she gets the $25 from. I don't know how that's the actual cost because of just the labor alone involved.
May I ask?
I mean,
Johnson?
I think the appropriate thing is to wait. We either get a second or we don't get a second. I don't hear a second, so the motion dies for lack of a second. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss, Ms. Marksberry?
No, other than I would have liked to have been told when Dr. Gray gave her, asked for her leave of absence. Other than that, no.
Okay. Any other comments or questions about this item? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
No.
Commissioner Casson, I didn't hear you one way or another.
I said aye.
Okay, thank you. So the motion passes 3-1. Next item.
E, Owensboro Regional Recovery, CDBG Grant Evidentiary Documents, Legally Binding Agreement, Written Assurances Letter.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson?
Per the Kentucky Community Development Block Grant Program guidelines, every year the county can submit a single application in the Public Services Program area up to $200,000 for operational cost to support a recovery center. The Owensboro Regional Recovery Center, or ORR, is the only entity that meets this criterion. These are the documents necessary to secure the funds for ORR, which include a legally binding agreement that serves as proof of contract between Fiscal Court and ORR, and a written assurances letter that the county will meet applicable conditions of the grant agreement. These documents are standard and unchanged from prior years, so I see no issues with approval.
Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Any questions from the public? Mr. Lovett, you got any comments you wish to make?
Not other than,
Okay.
he said, nothing other than what Mr. Johnson said. These documents have not changed since, we do this every year. It's kind of a standard. We sign them every year and submit them and get our $200,000 to pay salary. That's what the money is used for. It pays the salaries at ORR. That's all it's used for. So.
Very good. Thank you, sir. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
F, Order of Allowance to the Board of Assessment Appeals.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson?
KRS 133.020 requires Davis County to have a County Board of Assessment Appeals. KRS 133.030 dictates that each board member shall be paid $100 for each day served. This order of allowance includes the minutes of the board's meeting and directs Fiscal Court to pay the board members in the total amount of $400, of which the state will pay half. This is a standard item. I would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
G, Bond Counsel Services Engagement Letter with Densmore and Show, LLP.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson?
Davis County Fiscal Court retains bond counsel to assist with borrowing projections, to render objective legal opinions with respect to the authorization and issuance of any bonds, draft any legal documents required for authorization, securing issuance and sale of any bonds, and to utilize general advisement or assistance within the general scope of bond counsel services. We have utilized Dinsmore and Shoal LLP and its predecessors for over 16 years. This services engagement letter replaces our current letter with them, which is more than a decade old. It should be noted we only incur fees when they are utilized for a specific project. Their services to date have been more than satisfactory. Their fees are standard, and I would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
H, Davis County, Kentucky Basic Emergency Operations Plan.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson?
This is a basic summation of the Local Emergency Operations Plan, or LEOP, which was approved in June 2001 and undergoes annual review and update by executive order. The state requires a basic summary emergency operations plan for their records in lieu of the full plan. That basic plan is presented. Changes from prior years include the additional critical infrastructures, updated analyses of bridge vulnerability and aircraft risk, and updated government roles and responsibilities. It has been reviewed and finalized by County Attorney Burlew, Davis County Emergency Management, the City of Owensboro, and the City of Whitesville. I see no issues with approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Johnson? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
I, Resolution 13, 2024, Government Resources Accelerated Needed Transformation Grant, Program 2024 Project Application.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson.
The grant program, which is through the Cabinet for Economic Development, was established by House Bill 723 during this last year's legislative session. Resolution 13, 2024 is approval for fiscal court to submit an application in the amount of $250,000 for grant program state matching dollars, which will be used for Habitat for Humanity's $1 million CDBG project to offset unexpected cost overruns. You'll note there is a local match provision of the grant. However, Habitat would be responsible for that portion, as would be reflected if awarded in our ultimate agreement with them. GRAD has reviewed the process and grant parameters and found no issues. I see no issues with approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Johnson? Commissioner Condor.
Judge, if we could have Mr. Levitt possibly come, I was hoping that Jeremy Stevens with Habitat would be here to maybe answer a couple of questions, but I believe Mr. Levitt could do the same if possible.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Levitt. Just if you could you give us and the public an update as to Habitat's great project they're about to start?
Yes.
The Carter
Community Court.
Thank you very much for filling that in. What's the status of it? And there are reasons why this is important for Habitat to get that project going and get it done.
Yes, sir. We had a bid opening last week. Sean O'Brien's contracting company was the low bidder. The estimate of the project was like $350,000, but that was made back in 2021 or early 2022, if I remember correctly. The winning bid was close to $700,000. It was like $698, so it was significantly higher than, there were two bids. The other one was over $800,000. So, so it was, even though it was nearly double what the cost estimate was. They are going to start work Monday, the 15th, is the day that the ground starts to move. So they are ready to go. This was really all they were waiting on. We published the notice to proceed. We opened the bid, and Habitat accepted the bid, and so now the work starts. What this is House Bill 723 sets aside state money to offset local match. Because the bid came in so much higher than what Habitat and Fiscal Court was anticipating, we're applying for that to try and offset the $250,000 local match that Habitat was going to pay, so that they can put more money into, of their own money, they can put it into the actual building of the houses. The money that they are offsetting is Habitat funds. That $250,000 was their commitment. The $1 million was the federal portion. $250,000 was the Habitat local portion. They, you guys had the local match, and then Habitat was paying that. That's coming out of their pocket. That is donations in hand. They have, like literally, they can write a check for that amount of money. So that's what they're trying to do, and that's what this is about. Is that sufficient? Or
Just to follow up, please?
Yes, sir.
The reason why this is so important is for Habitat to meet the 80% usage of the $1 million CDBG grant by September 1st.
Right.
And the reason why that's important is because if they do not, Fiscal Court cannot apply through GRAD for any
CDBG,
other
right.
CDBG grant for the following year, correct?
Right.
And the
That's
major project that is in line that has been committed to is the Senior Citizen Center in the amount of $750,000.
That's correct, sir.
So it is paramount that Habitat,
It is.
let's go.
It is, but I will say that we have received literally no documentation toward an application for a CDBG on the retirement center. So,
The Senior Citizen Center.
Senior citizen, if Habitat walked in tomorrow and paid off their bond and did the whole thing and had it paid off literally tomorrow, we don't have anything with which we could proceed.
Which in that regard, with it being a city facility.
Right, but
the city is responsible for getting to GRAD.
And I don't want to put words into Jeremy Stevens' mouth. I don't want to do that. But I know they are committed to spending that money by September 1st. They have been chomping at the bit to get started out there. They have been, when can we go? When can we go? When can we go? And so they are going to break ground on Monday. Or they've had the official groundbreaking, but the dirt starts to move Monday to put in the infrastructure, the storm sewers, the water lines, all that, and the street. And then once they get that done, I mean, you guys know as well as I do how fast they can start putting up habitat houses. And so they are ready to go. And I think this is, I don't think, again, I'm not going to commit them to anything. I don't put, I'm not writing this in stone, but I do not think they will have a problem meeting that September 1st deadline.
So then it's up to the city to provide the information to GRAD for the next CDBG
that's
grant,
a
if
separate,
applicable.
Right. That's a whole separate thing. But yes, I think what we're saying is Habitat will clear the decks in time, to meet that September 1st deadline. The question is whether, whether we're going to have the materials needed to make that application.
Thank you, Mr. Lovett. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
J,
Thank you.
terminate lease agreement with the Child Support Division of the Daviess County Attorney's Office for office space effective 6/30/2024.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
And a motion and second, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Judge. Child support enforcement is a state function with all policies and procedures dictated by the Commonwealth in accordance with the federal guidelines of Title IV. County child support divisions are under the control of their respective county attorney's office. Until July 1 of 24, Daviess County's child support expenses and Title IV federal reimbursement operated within fiscal court's budget, with the county serving as the payment processor and fiscal agent. It was found this is not a standard practice for most counties in the Commonwealth, and it ultimately caused issues and delays with the state's processing of expense reimbursement. Beginning July 1 of 24, child support enforcement is now separate from the county's operating budget, with County Attorney Burlew contracting directly with the Cabinet for Health and Family Services like most other county attorney offices. This item is to terminate the lease for space to accommodate child support that was approved while the office operated through the county, with the next agenda item to install a new lease with the division that is now operating independently of the county. I would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
K, lease agreement with the Child Support Division of the Daviess County Attorney's Office for office space effective 7/1/2024.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
And a motion and second, Mr. Johnson.
This is the replacement lease for space to accommodate child support services located in the Robert M. Curtley Judicial Annex. The rate is $14 per square foot per annum, save as the terminated lease, resulting in annual rental revenue of $40,152. The lease is effective July 1 of 24. Retroactively, I would recommend approval.
Any questions for Mr. Johnson? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
L, East County Commissioners Annual Incentive Payment for calendar year 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Mr. Johnson.
For certain elected officials, upon completion of 40 hours of training per KRS 64.5275, Section 6, fiscal court is required to pay the incentive payment directed by a letter from the Department for Local Government. Attached is the letter for Commissioner Marksberry. Although this payment is required, it must still be reviewed and approved by fiscal court. I would recommend approval.
Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
I will not be voting on this,
Okay,
Judge.
let the record reflect that Ms. Marksberry, Commissioner Marksberry will be abstaining. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
M, award quote for election equipment to Harp Enterprises.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion second, Mr. Johnson.
This quote is for 5 additional on-demand ballot printing units for the Daviess County Clerk's Office that will be dispersed to vote centers that currently only have a single printing unit. Per Clerk McCarty, the on-demand ballot printing has continued to be successful in all elections. Clerk McCarty maintains that these units increase the efficiency of the election process and will move the office closer to their goal of being able to fully print ballots at all voting centers. The quote is in the amount of $31,480. This is a budgeted expense, and I would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
N, declare the following as surplus inventory and transfer as follows. 2010 Wheeland Vortex warning siren to Ohio County Emergency Management.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion second, Mr. Johnson.
Ohio County Emergency Management recently audited their siren system, and they found 2 sirens which they are currently unable to repair. In light of this, they've contacted neighboring emergency management agencies requesting the donation of any decommissioned or inactive sirens. The 2010 Wayland Vortex warning siren is a replaced unit we have currently in storage. This unit was only replaced a few months ago by the new siren that's located behind the Thruston Volunteer Fire Department on Reed Road. It is our recommendation to declare the siren surplus and in accordance with KRS 67.0802, Section 4, transfer the unit to Ohio County Fiscal Court without consideration. I see no issues with approval as we have no other plans for this unit.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. O, renew service agreements with UniFirst Corporation.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
And a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson.
These agreements include the rental and laundering services for uniforms for employees in the solid waste department. This renewal comes with a slight reduction in pricing due to the company's current pricing structure. The services have been rendered to the staff's satisfaction to date, and we believe that rebidding the service would likely only result in a price increase. I would recommend renewal.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
P, award RFQ 242512, DAT Final Drive Guard.
Move to approve.
Second.
And a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson.
Davis County Fiscal Court received 2 responsive quotes for the provision of 1 final drive guard for the CAT DAT dozer located at the West Davis County landfill, and we recommend award to the best evaluated quote submitted by HJ Industries in the amount of $16,845. You will note this is not the low quote received. The county has operated both brands that were quoted, with landfill mechanics reporting greater longevity and performance for final drives provided by the recommendation. HJ Industries is a known vendor. There were no exceptions to the specifications, and I would recommend approval.
Any questions from Mr. Johnson?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Q, renew bid number 2223, 59.1, Ready Mix Concrete.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
And a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson.
This renewal is for the contract provision of ready-mix concrete for the road department. Road department management has been satisfied with the services and products supplied by Yeager Materials to date. Staff are of the opinion that rebidding the service would likely result in a price increase. This would be the first renewal of a maximum of 4. I would recommend approval.
Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
R, reject bid number 242505, one-use propane fork truck.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson.
This bid was for the provision of one used propane fork truck for the road department. The items, prices, and/or exceptions of the bid results were outside the range the county deems acceptable, so it is staff's recommendation to reject all bids. Road Department management plans to rebid this item for a new unit as opposed to a used in light of new pricing information and to garner more participation. I would recommend rejection of all bids.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
S, hire Natalie Mayfield as a part-time animal control attendant effective 7/8/2024.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Want to congratulate Ms. Mayfield for being hired and thank her for joining our team. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
T, hire Wayne Barks as solid waste heavy equipment operator effective upon successful completion of pre-employment screenings.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Again, want to congratulate Wayne for his being hired and wish him well as he joins our team. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
U, accept the retirement resignation of Mark Brescher, county engineer, effective 7/31/24.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Sweat it out.
I want to congratulate Mr. Brasher. Thank you for your years of service to our community and wish you a good retirement, sir.
Yeah, I thought he had already resigned, but okay.
Retired on duty.
Yeah, I thought he already retired.
Anyone else?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
V, appoint TJ Turner to the Davis County Convention and Visitors Bureau, effective 7/1/2024 through 6/30/2027.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Want to thank Mr. Turner for agreeing to serve our community in this role. Also want to thank City Commissioner Sharon Neesmith for her service to our community. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3, consideration for discussion. A, first reading of KOCA .106.01, 2024, 6/2024, budget amendment number 1.
This is a first reading, so we don't need a motion or a second. Mr. Johnson.
The county is required to amend the budget to reflect the receipt and expenditure of unanticipated revenues that were not part of the original budget document. Davis County Fiscal Court was unaware of 2 projects appropriated in Senate Bill 91 to Davis County while we were compiling the fiscal year 24-25 budget. This budget amendment addresses both. The first project is for the City of Whitesville Sewer Compliance Project in the amount of $250,000. The second is the Davis County Water District System Waterline Project in the amount of $1.2 million. This is the first reading.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in, whoops, sorry about that. Next item,
Other business to be brought before Davis County Fiscal Court?
you know of any?
There are none.
There's none, all right. Next item.
Public comments.
This is the part of our meeting where we invite the public to come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and speak to any item that was not on the agenda. Do we have any takers this evening? I see none. Next item.
Comments by Davis County Fiscal Court.
Let's see, who's first tonight? Oh, on the list. I'll start with Commissioner Casson.
I don't have anything, Judge. Thank you.
Commissioner Marksberry.
Yes, Judge. I don't make public statements without first doing my research. I just spoke with the staff this week and was told the cost of the meds to do spay and neuter was between $12 and $15 an animal, so the $25 was actually a little high. I know that Commissioner Condor inquired about those numbers. That's where they came from, Commissioner Condor, from our staff. I think it's irresponsible of the court to not know the true cost of spay and neuter by now, since we have built a clinic for this purpose. Let's use these funds to spay as many animals as possible. There is no reason to up the cost more than what it costs us when we apply for this grant, and I would really appreciate it if we would try to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Condor.
Thank you, Judge. Many times whenever I make comments, they are just thoughts that I announce. This evening, a little bit longer, and it all is centered around recent events specifically concerning economic development and jobs in our community. So here we go. These are facts that I'm about to state that have happened in the last few months. May 30th, 2024, $8.5 million for Hydro Aluminum in Henderson, Kentucky, creating 31 jobs. June 4th, 2024, $223 million for 963 housing units. All of that as a result of the disasters that have occurred in Western Kentucky. But the lion's share of that was 635 units for Bowling Green. That's an average cost of $233,977 per unit. June 27th, 2024, $1.26 million for Bruco Marketing Group out of Muhlenberg County, creating 18 jobs. Good for them. It's great that those municipalities got the fundings to do what they're doing. Housing, more jobs, that's super for them. Well done. July 8th, 2024, Durhamic closes. Over 156 employees out of a job. Yes, the hope is that they would find other jobs within our community. I believe they will. I hope so. But the stress and the angst that followed along with that is very, very disturbing. June 11th, not too long ago, I was informed about a statewide application process for the Innovation Hub. to address economic development possibilities in our region throughout the state of Kentucky. Go EDC, our economic development, applied to be part of an innovation hub in April of 2024. However, the state of Kentucky EDC did not inform us that Daviess County, our EDC, was not being awarded the designation, but EDC found out through Paducah's EDC, who was visiting us locally. We were not even afforded the email or phone call to say no, but we would be under Paducah's Innovation Hub. I did check with Claude Bacon to verify since that time. Did he find out why? What's the reason why? Not even a phone call to say, no, get out of my way. That did not occur. I talked to him yesterday. He speculates that the funding was for 6 innovation hubs throughout the state, and that by adding another one would just dilute the funding. That is his thoughts of why it occurred. But we have not received any type of reasoning why that happened. The question is, how can we better engage state agencies, particularly the state EDC, to prevent this from occurring again and improve the image of Owensboro and Daviess County? Now, I realize politics has its consequences, but we must put aside our certain thoughts and partisanship to advance this community. It must be recognized and it must occur. And I want to make sure that everyone understands I am not disregarding some of our wins that we've had. Big Rivers moving from Henderson to Owensboro, even though they were upset at Henderson Municipal and the city of Henderson to move here, fine, it's a great addition. Whenever Representative Miles was able to secure what I believe $36 million for Owensboro Health, great, understand that. Yet we have an underlying tone of us not being able to get the state's attention as others seem to around us. So then the question becomes, what can we do? What are some of the things that we might be able to start to really get Frankfurt's attention? Here we go. Each year, I would highly recommend that our state, county, and city government leaders, being the judge, the mayor, state representatives, meet together in one room to address what are our priorities. I know for a fact in this last session that there was a 36-hour period of time in Frankfurt where funds were appropriated for different projects throughout the state. And if we do not have those priorities set and our representatives do not know specifically what we as a community want to do, they can't advocate very well for us. That needs to happen together. It needs to happen, not separately, but together. Activate Daviess County Fiscal Court's Economic Development Fund, approximately $1.8 million sitting there. Hasn't necessarily been used in well over 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in that neighborhood. Task us. Bring forward projects that these funds can be used for. Capital expenditures, whatever it might be. Bring them. Bring it on. Here's a good one. Create a revenue sharing program. I believe this project or this idea was brought up some time ago, and yet it always bogs down in the details. What that means is both city and county work together to create areas of development, of economic revenue sharings, of tax revenues, whatever they might be, together. Novel idea for the city and county to try to work together. Take care of what we have because really it's all we've got. When you look at our bypass and our signage and our maintenance of our roads, first impressions mean everything, especially to prospective businesses. When they drive in here, they're not necessarily going to go see everybody who's wanting to show them what's great. They're going to do it themselves. And it makes a difference when we show off that we care. If we're not willing to invest in ourselves, why would anyone else do it? Last, I believe we should engage the Greater Owensboro Leadership Institute to begin the hard conversation. The hard conversations of how we can better represent, how we can better move forward, What are those issues? Whether they're egos, I just don't like you, I'm not even going to have lunch with you for that matter. Those type of discussions need to be held, and they are hard. I would not say that they're easy to do at all. But those items that I just listed are at least a start for us to be able to come together to provide for all of our citizens. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Commissioner. I won't go as long as Commissioner Condor. I want to congratulate Tristan Durbin. He's our airport director at the Owensboro Daviess County Regional Airport, and he was just elected to be president of the Kentucky Aviation Association, and he's been on that group for, I believe, 2 years, and he's risen to the level of president. I want to congratulate him. I think that's a reflection of the quality of individual we have in him that's leading our airport. Also, the airport announced recently that they hope to hear soon whether or not they have been, they will join the Owensboro Riverport Authority as a foreign trade zone, which would make the airport attractive as a location for companies that want to use air to do their business. And I want to again congratulate them and hope that comes through. I hope we actually get a call on that one, a positive call. Also, I want to continue my thanks. I've been doing this for a little bit now to those who have participated in our Cash for Trash program. Trinity High School, all 4 classes from the freshman to the senior class participated. Also, Immaculate Parish Church, the Pentecostals of Owensboro, and the Knights of Columbus, number 14290. They covered a total of 48 miles, picked up 0.77 tons of trash, and I know there are some who say that all our trash is because of the CD&D decision that was made about a year ago. The reality is most of this trash we're talking about is not even picked up on that route, and so I would encourage people. We need to care about our community. We need to care about. I know one thing I've done personally is I pretty much adopted I'm not going to walk past it mantra for myself, and so as much as possible when there's trash, when I see trash on the street between my car and wherever I'm heading, I stop and pick up whatever pieces of trash I pass, and if we all did that, we might have a cleaner community. Anyway, enough of my pontificating. Is there anything else, Terry? Okay. Without further business, this meeting is adjourned.